いってらっしゃい、エレン。
Beneath the shade of a lone tree, a boy wakes with tears in his eyes. Hovering above him is a young girl with a concerned look, a presentiment of things to come. Here begins our story, and here we will return. The calm afternoon is drifting by when all of a sudden it shatters. Thunder rumbles, lightning strikes, and an immense shadow appears, hanging over the last refuge of mankind. Towering over Wall Maria, the colossal titan stares blankly. Young Eren Yeager looks up, eyes widening as stone fracture and his world collapses. This is more than mere destruction, it is the lightning of a fire that will burn well beyond a child's home, consuming everything in its path. Shingeki no Kyojin is Hajime Isayama's unrelenting vision about freedom, survival and destruction. But under the spectacle of bloodshed and giants lies something more fundamental, a pattern. Beginning with Eren, we see a pattern of desire, imitation and violence spreading outward to engulf civilizations. We'll be undertaking this investigation with the theories of René Girard, philosopher, anthropologist and literary critic who expose how our desires aren't really our own. They're emulated, and in that emulation lie the seeds of competition, strife and finally catastrophe. In part 1, Mimetic Dreams, we begin at the most personal level, with individuals and their relationships. Girard called this mimetic desire. We want things not for themselves, but because others do. For Eren, it manifests as an obsession with freedom in the world beyond the walls, an acquired dream he will chase at any cost. Mimetic desire, however, spreads beyond a single person, it ensnares others and builds up institutions. We'll pursue this thread with Eren and those around him. What starts in a child's tear-filled eyes goes beyond the story of monsters and turns into a mirror of how our deepest longings separate us, connect us, and change us into what we dread. The real nightmare is not the titans consuming humanity, but rather humanity consuming itself in pursuit of unattainable dreams, caught unaware in cycles. Before going down this uncertain road, it is fundamental to point out that mimesis is not inherently harmful. Girard emphasized that imitation is how we learn, it creates culture and lays the basis for human connection. Even competition itself can be constructive by fostering fraternal bonds, mutual growth and a positive striving when not distorted by envy or hatred. Attack on Titan shows both sides of this coin, destructive mimesis in Eren's downward spiral and positive mimesis represented by figures like Falco and Mikasa. The survey core itself demonstrates how shared aspirations can unite people in common purpose rather than turning them against each other. This contrast will become crucial when we later investigate if people can change mimetic patterns from weapons into healing. This is part 1, the individual scale, where a single spark ignites a fuse, where we begin to question what we pursue, why we pursue it, and what that pursuit ultimately costs us. Desire doesn't start in us. That's mimetic theory's first lesson. We don't find ourselves wanting something because it's our own inherent wish. Rather, we see that desire in someone else and suddenly it becomes our own. From the beginning of the story, Eren is shaped by this reality. His craving to break down barriers and his hunger for freedom are desires he mimicked from others, and this set him on a path from which he cannot turn back. We are molded by other people, our friends, our heroes, and even our enemies. They provide us what we seek, an example to follow. Eren's path will be our own in this investigation, and we'll follow him like the eagle, witnesses to his journey. Eren's mimetic story begins with a book. His best friends, Armin. Imagine two boys, during a quiet afternoon, drawn to its pages. Armin exults, fields of ice, oceans of fire, worlds of wonder beyond the walls that outline their existence. Eren's face lights up in fascination, a fire is being sparked inside him. He's utterly captivated. This is Girard's triangle. Eren, the subject, craves the outside world, the object, because Armin, his model, craves it. Armin's longing makes the outside world into something real and attractive for Eren. That's mimetic desire in action. Eren's dream of freedom is passed down a chain, not formed in a vacuum. Armin got it from his grandfather's forbidden book, the relic of someone else's dream. Then we have the Survey Corps. Eren watches them ride back through the gates. Bloodied capes flutter against the golden sunset. Soldiers carrying the wounded, their eyes hollow. The crowd complains, more dead, more taxes, another failure. Eren though perceives something else, freedom. though not a triumphal return. Going beyond the walls when no one else dares shows a defiance against all odds. They're Eren's model, his heroes. He wants what they possess, the courage to chase what's out there instead of mere survival. The wings in their insignia become the symbol Eren longs to be, an eagle free to soar. Girard gets to the core of this. All desire is a desire for being. Eren wants more than what Armin has, the bulk and the knowledge. He wants to be what Armin aspires to be, curious, passionate, free. We pursue the ways of being, the states of existence that we observe in others, not things in themselves. Eren's yearning for freedom is actually a desire to embody the essence he perceives in Armin and in the Cerbicore, to embody their manner of being in the world. But there's a shadow side creeping in. Those models shift, even to adversaries. Years later, he sits across from Reiner, an enemy who slaughters innocents for a cause. Eren looks at him and says, "I am the same as you." His desire has evolved, mirroring Reiner's willingness to destroy anything for a greater good. Reiner devastating Eren's world inside the walls, Eren annihilating the whole world outside the walls. What began as admiration for heroes will in time warp into fierce conflict. Models are crucial mechanisms in any community. By emulating them, we find our place in society and keep it functioning. But these are complex processes that can put people in an untenable position. Girard identifies this as the double bind, a deeper trap that goes beyond simple imitation and occurs when the group prevents the realization of a given model. One particularly striking case is when society pushes us to emulate celebrated role models, all the while urging us to be yourself, be original, and be unique. In addition to causing confusion, this contradiction causes a deep internal rift that breeds conflict and can lead to a breakdown. For Eren, this manifests most clearly in his relationship with the authorities after his Titan powers emerge. Once his ability is discovered, the military presents him with an impossible position: control your Titan power perfectly, while also prove you're still human, not a monster. They need his unique ability while also being terrified of what makes him special. Girard observed this trend across culture. The exceptional individual is both celebrated and dreaded, longed for yet constrained. While Commander Nile wants to eliminate Eren as a danger, Commander Pixis relies on Eren's ability to seal trust breach. The military police wish to remove his power, the scouts seek to exploit it, neither lets him just be. He has to constantly prove he's controllable. This tension exemplifies the double bind's often inevitable nature, driven by impossible circumstances rather than malice. Given that they are up against a force that has the ability to either save or destroy them, the military's reaction makes sense. However, this sensible prudence leads to the very strife that haunts Eren. This pressure manifests physically as he strains to access power that came unconsciously before, his body becoming the battleground of competing demands. Resort to your powers, but only when we command it. The torturous nature of the double bind is vividly illustrated by the blood that runs down his fingers as he continues to bite his hand in an attempt to force a transformation. The double bind is insidious because of how it causes internal conflict. Eren starts to doubt himself. Is he the hope or the doom of mankind, monster or weapon? Girard would argue that this is to be expected because ourselves are not fixed, they're woven from others and caught in the desires we copy. For Eren, Reiner and others, that pole rips them apart. Girard understood that this division often results in violence, not only against others but also against oneself. We split when we cannot solve the double bind. Eren's journey will cause him more fragmentation as the unattainable expectations generate rifts, almost completely shattering his identity. Through the Attack Titan's power, Eren sees more than his own life. The past, the future, memories not his own flood in. It's the individual self. We're not one, but many, shaped by the desires we've imitated and the models we've pursued. For Eren, it's literal, a mind split across time, a battleground of voices he can't silence. We see this unfold. Eren touches Historia's hand, and time cracks open, past and future intermingle, clashing against the present reality and resting on a thin edge between myriad possibilities. Images overlap, identities blur. Is this Eren's choice or Grisha's, his will or someone else's echoing through time? Eren is not alone in this binding pattern. Across the sea, the warrior candidates vie for a prize for reasons they did not originate themselves. Young trainees ensnared in the same web of mimetic desire. Girard reveals how the wants that stem from others are also for status, recognition, or a sense of belonging. For these Eldian youths in Marley, it is epitomized in the Titan powers, an honor they are encouraged to pursue through a contest that molds them into instruments of war. They're sculpted by competition, shaped by what their masters dangle before them. They stand in lines, ranked, observing each other. Every move from their companions must be mirrored and exceeded to get power. Girard's triangle is right there. The gold glints at the top, but it's the rivalry that fuels their hunger. More than just the power, they want to be the one who wins it. Let's take Reiner Brown. His mother Karina plants the seed, Marlian citizenship, a life beyond shame, and a high status is slap in the face of the man who rejected her and their son. But then Paradis changes his perspective. He finds comrades there, soldiers, not warriors, who show him loyalty and bonds, and so he splits. One Reiner fights for Marley, cold and blue, another laughs with friends, warm and bright. It's a rupture, a crisis of identity. Girard's double-bind. Two mimetic pulls tear him apart, but neither half is genuinely his, evoking Eren's own fragmentation. Eren's brother, Yeager, a fellow warrior from the previous generation, was also torn between two opposing narratives, just like Reiner. For him, however, the opposite was true. Marley's side represents warmth, while the alien side cold harshness. His father, Grisha, presents him with an alternative history that contradicts the version of events accepted by Marlian society, which outside the household is the narrative is expected to uphold. One version of him is a victim oppressed by an unjust society, a wrong that he, as a royal successor, has a responsibility to right. In the other version, he is the descendant of a cursed people who caused unfathomable horror and agony over centuries. Unlike Reiner, however, he does not remain split. The severance he bears within himself, which causes him so much anxiety and anguish, is relieved when he denounces his parents, firmly aligning himself with Marley. His father had pushed him to that critical moment, as the image of himself young Zeke saw reflected in his father's eyes was one of unmet expectations and disappointment, treated by him only as an instrument for retribution. A simple baseball is what nudged him to the other side. His mentor, Tom Xaver, was the only person who ever took time to simply play with him, the man who showed Zeke genuine concern, and the father figure who actually saw him. Then there's Gabi and Falco. Gabi's drive is textbook mimesis. Slaughter all the devils on that island who have caused us so much suffering, she says, echoing Marley's ideals. Falco is different. He starts pursuing rank and promotion, but pivots, striving to protect Gabi rather than outshining her. His name means falcon, and his titan form soars, a hint of the freedom Eren never grasps. Falco's rare here in this regard because he is a positive mediator, someone who pulls others out of the vicious cycle of vengeance instead of digging in. He nudges Gabi towards reconciliation, a small light in the dark. Armin Arlert instead pursues a different path. Where Eren and the warriors charge, Armin pauses, his mind a tool to unravel the web Girard saw binding us. He aims to mediate, to stand between rivals, to reason through their conflict. His analytical skills show early. Amid Trost's chaos, while others panic, Armin steps back, detecting patterns others overlook. He is able to get into a perspective partly outside the structure, observing what others are caught in. Unlike Eren, who gets immediately drawn by models and mirrors, Armin attempts to see the mechanism itself. Kind of like what we are doing right now with this analysis. Armin's temperament is a counterbalance to Eren's passions, reinforcing the brotherly tie between them. His stance follows a line of succession, from Eren to Anji to him, thinkers amid fires. Eren was a commander who questioned even as he led, whose father died for asking too much. Armin inherits this mantle through insight, and we find a reflection of this on the other side of the sea in Zeke, Eren's actual half-brother. Another blonde intellectual, physically weaker compared to his peers, representing the analytical mind on the opposite side of the conflict. Armin's parents died seeking the outside world, just as Eren's father was eliminated for questioning official history within the walls. Meanwhile, Zeke's father Grisha was radicalized by discoveries beyond Marley's approved boundaries, leading to his exile. 3 generations of analytical minds punished for seeing too much. These symmetries represent specular dynamics on opposite sides of the fight, beyond mere randomness. Armin and Zeke will get their intellectual confrontation eventually, but the first-rate standoff against Armin's rational approach arrives when he faces Bertolt during the desperate battle for Shiganshina. Armin stands there, words probing Bertolt's resolve, reaching for the adversary's heart. His diplomatic stance appeals to a reason and logic he cannot find any fault in. A peaceful resolution must surely be at hand, but Bertolt cuts Armin's attempts short. Nobody's at fault, but the world is just that cruel. It's resignation at the face of power structures too vast to reason away. Bertolt has knowledge of a wider struggle that is too deeply ingrained to be solved with dialogue. Despite seeing the humanity on the other side, Bertolt has surrendered to hopelessness and now accepts his role in the conflict. This is a limit Girard warned of. Understanding alone doesn't break the cycle. We've tracked mimetic patterns where Eren's acquired longing for freedom, the warrior's competitive striving for recognition, and Armin's attempts at analytical detachment. Each represents a different relationship to desire, yet all remain caught within its web. In mimetic theory, this trap is referred to as the Skandalon, a term meaning stumbling block that Girard adopted from biblical texts. It's simultaneously our desire and our downfall. In Attack on Titan, freedom itself is the ultimate ideal that everyone strives for, yet the pitfall that drags them down. Consider Eren, his hometown in ruins, the walls enclosing humanity growing ever closer, trapping in within. He discovers a ray of hope for escape, concealed within the basement of his old house. His fingers reach for the key, his father's secret, the promise of answers, of freedom. It's the chance for salvation, but also the way to ruin. That key reveals truths that engulf him further, rather than liberate him. A potent symbol for this lure are the wings of freedom, the Serbicor's emblem. They flutter on capes, a cry for liberation, yet they mark countless dead, the sacrificed. That's the Skandalon's bite. It draws you in, shines bright, and then cuts deeper the harder you grasp. Like moths to a flame, we see the trap but we can't pull away, and we may not even have a choice. The Skandalon may work inversely as well. Violence itself can be the enabler for the pursuit. The moment that shatters Eren's world also cracks open his cage. When Bertolt's colossal titan reaches Wall Maria, it's catastrophe. Homes destroyed, his mother killed, security stripped away. Yet paradoxically, the same violence functions as a perverse liberation. The wall that confined him now lies broken. The outside he longed for rushes in. It's destruction that ushers in new opportunities. Girard would recognize this paradox. Violence disrupts boundaries, collapsing distinctions we depend on. Inside, outside, safety, danger, home, world. For Eren, the colossal titan's foot slams away not just the gate, but the limitations of his existence. He will later replicate this act, his own violence breaking walls for others, destruction and liberation intertwined. The breach marks his first real contact with the outside he craved, not as he imagined it, but as unveiled violence and tragedy. This is the poetic structure of the story, its engine. The Skandalon is never just personal. There is always a competitor, a mirror, and mirrors reflect and also distort. We copy our opponents and become their shadow. Mimetic doubles, people so close in rivalry that they blend into one another. Eren and Reiner, Armin and Bertolt, Levi and Zeke, as well as less obvious pairings like Historia and Ymir, all add their own spin to the play of mirrors. Enemies don't just fight, they copy each other, becoming mimetic doubles locked so tight they reflect each other's moves. Though Eren has several doubles and rivals throughout the story, no example shows this clearer than his mirroring with Gabi. Two alien kids, worlds apart yet cut from the same cloth. They start the same, Eren behind Wall Maria, Gabi in Marley's internment zone, both caged, both staring up at barriers. With suspiciously similar hair and an ardent burning stare, freedom and retribution their fire. They pursue a military calling, Eren in the Serbicor, Gabi in Marley's army. The catch is that they are both titans. Eren, unaware of the alien curse, rages against the monsters, while Gabi vows to crush their source. Yet they are what they hate, a double bind where their identity fights itself. Rivals mirroring rivals, each blind to how alike they are. Gabi's a soldier bred on guilt. Alien blood a stain she'll wash away with victory. Eren channels his fury against humanity's cage, a wrong to tear down, but we see her transformation. She tears off her armband, Marley's mark, and sees the lie. There are no more devils in Paradise than in Marley. Giving up the conflict by recognizing the other would have been seen by Girard as a conversion. Gabi turns towards understanding, a path Eren sees but is unable to take. She accepts a renewal where he cannot, he can only imagine it, a gap that determines their radically different fates. Mirrors don't always reflect violence. They can occasionally point the road to the truth. Imitation that fosters healing and constructive relationships we will call positive mimesis. Historia Rice and Ymir are that uncommon light in Attack on Titan, mimetic doubles who support one another. Their hidden selves, both of them, imperfect inverse. Historia is a royal bastard masked as Krista, a saintly shell. Ymir's a beggar once brought in to pose as Lady Ymir, a false noble. The princes playing common, the pauper made royal, but from their meeting, the truth breaks through. Ymir says to Krista, "I know who you are," seeing past the mask. The role society pins on you, or you on yourself. At first they deny the connection, but this facade eventually crumbles. We're the same, two outcasts marked for slaughter, one by blood, the other by circumstances. Historia reclaims her birth name and casts off Krista entirely, while Ymir keeps Ymir, the founder's namesake, a name not hers by birth, yet now her own, the only one she ever knew. It's a reciprocal dance for truth beyond power. Imitation can build when it aims for something real. Competition too may develop beyond envy and rivalry into healthier forms of imitation. Jon and Eren's relationship exemplifies the transformation brilliantly. While Jon's initial attraction to Mikasa put him at odds with Eren, their feud matures from antagonism to a stimulus for growth. They are frequently mistaken for each other in early arcs. However, unlike destructive doubles like Eren and Reiner, Jon is not consumed by the rivalry. When Marco's death pushes him to reconsider his goals, Eren's unwavering determination presents an alternate model. The key moment occurs during the Tross battle, when Jon adopts Eren's selfless courage while retaining his pragmatical thinking, synthesizing their respective traits. This constructive mimesis is shown when Jon takes on leadership roles that require the same daring he once derided. Jon develops into a balanced leader who combines idealism and practicality thanks to imitation and healthy competition. Mikasa Ackerman serves as another example of positive mimesis. However, her case is almost unique. Her story begins with the received mercy and ends with mercy given. Mikasa's merciful actions will have cosmic implications that ripple far beyond her own life, as we'll see toward the end of her journey. She gives us a glimpse of what might exist beyond the mimetic snare, but her choices hint at something rooted in her Ackerman blood. They can't be controlled by memory manipulation, a capacity that seems to reflect also a certain resistance to mimetic influence. That is the widespread beliefs in a society. They stand somewhat apart from the desires that drive others. The Ackerman bloodline shows a particular connection to mimetic forces in two separate respects. First, they have an actual immunity. The founding Titan's memory manipulation cannot control them. Therefore, they reject the official narrative linking other aliens. Second, they show a unique pattern of attachment, strongly bonding with one specific individual. Their loyalty stays incredibly constant. Kenny to Yuri, Levi to Erwin, Mikasa to Eren. From the king's protectors to persecuted outcasts, the Ackerman's social standing changed dramatically. The relationship to power resembles that of medieval executioners. While they were not persecuted, executioners held an ambiguous social status. They were required for the operation of justice, but kept distant from the honorable society. Both groups necessary and uneasy reminders of the violence supporting society. This position as insiders who stand apart creates a unique mediating role as they function as a safety mechanism, like Mikasa ending Eren's destructive path, or Levi allowing Commander Erwin a peaceful death. Through these difficult but necessary acts, they temporarily alleviate wider societal tensions without being fully consumed by the systems they serve. Still, biology doesn't determine everything. Kenny's troubled path, Levi's sense of duty, Mikasa's act of compassion, each shapes their own path, making their actions not reducible to genetic programming alone. By showing the opposition to mimetic patterns, the Ackermans help us understand how violence operates inside societal structures. Even the intimate is shaped by mimetic desire. René Girard noted that longing rarely travels directly, instead it passes through other people and bends into rivalry, which is never more apparent than in matters of the heart. This fact is made clear by the romantic triangles in Attack on Titan. Consider Eren, Mikasa and Jon. The training grounds are teeming with thrills and adrenaline. Jon watches Mikasa, her beauty, her focus, but the girl's eyes rest on Eren. Here lies Girard's triangular structure. Jon's attraction intensifies with her devotion to another. Craving grows stronger when faced with the resistance, and this obstacle heightens it. As previously mentioned, it's no coincidence that especially in the early arcs, Eren and Jon are often mistaken for one another. Armin, Annie and Bertolt extend this further. Armin's feelings for Annie are bolstered as he consumes Bertolt, inheriting an unspoken love. This is mediated desire carried by a Titan memory, a link rooted not only in Armin's own attraction, but Bertolt's lingering feelings. Going beyond mimicry, the Titan's gift channels their wants across biology and time, Annie's presence drawing Armin as it once drew her comrade. These relationships perfectly demonstrate Girard's triangular structure of desire. Desire doesn't just flow directly from subject to object, but is always mediated through a model. Are we free to choose, or are we swept along by events? René Girard viewed desire as a force shaping decisions we claim as our own. Attack on Titan embodies this struggle through Eren, whose path reveals the illusion of autonomy. In the paths, Eren declares, "I am free," yet confesses to Armin it had to be done. This contradiction, asserting will while surrendering to inevitability, lies at the heart of Girard's theory. Our desires are inherited, our choices echoes of models we mimic. We also find a mythic resonance here, as Eren's journey parallels Oedipus, who fulfilled every prophecy fled. Just as Oedipus' flight led him to kill his true father and marry his mother, Eren's desperate pursuit of freedom accelerates the destruction he glimpses. Yet the series resists pure determinism. Choices matter, even within mimetic chains. Eren is both player and pawn, shaping his fate as he swept towards it. His trembling admission, "I don't know why, but I had to," captures the duality, at will asserted, yet bound by forces beyond comprehension. The river metaphor illuminates this paradox. We may choose how to swim, but the current's pull is inexorable. We're left to question if we are authors of our actions or conduits for invisible powers. Attack on Titan offers no resolution, only the paradox itself. As we conclude our examination of individual desire, our perspective widens, these patterns, rivalry, craving, and entrapment, extending to a web tightening towards societal scales, which we will examine in part 2, and beyond to eschatological reckoning later on. The basement Eren seeks looms ahead, with a closed door and a key that holds the promise of secrets that will blast through more than walls. It is currently waiting, a veiled threshold. Part 2 will trace these threads into institutions such as the military and governments, where sacred violence becomes ritual and scapegoats swell from single persons to entire populations. Eren's clash with Reiner mirrors parodies against Marley, and Armin and Zeke's doubling prefigures existential dilemmas for the whole of humanity. The trap of desire and violence is ready to spring.